guys, and welcome back to the Emily Knits channel. My name is Emily. I'm a knitter and crocheter in my mid-30s, based in the north of Nottinghamshire in the UK, where I live with my other half and our two dogs. I'm really not very well in the frame here, so I'm trying to get into it. And the reason I'm not in the frame very well is because today we're going to do, finally, the stash tour. So this was about a couple of months back. We ticked over 1,000 subscribers, and I said I was going to ask what you guys wanted to see as part of like a 1,000 subscriber video, and this was what you asked for. I've put it off a bit because there's a lot and I didn't really know where to start with it. So I've got, just for reference, these two are both full. All of this is quite full. There is some, you can't see from there are 4 more of these sort of cubes down here. However, the 2 of them are full of my sewing machine and my printer. There is a little bit of yarn in there, but not a full cube. And then there's 2 actual like pull-out boxes at the bottom, one of which has a bit of yarn in, but again, not the other one. However, what you can't see is, please excuse the mess of my work desk, that's some stuff that needs to be put away that we're going to go through. But I have 2 of these totes here, and there's also a bigger one at the bottom as well. So there's quite a lot of yarn, and I've just brought up some stuff from downstairs that needs to go away in here. So I want to organise it, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to go through it with you guys as well. Full disclosure, you've probably watched, or I hope you've watched, my some of my stash down videos, and if you haven't, I'm on a yarn ban this year, and I'm on an attempt to stash this down, because I am under no illusions that this amount of yarn, including these as well, this is a large amount of yarn. It is way more than I thought I had. It is way more than I ever intended to get, and that's why I'm doing a yarn ban and stash down this year. However, it's not organised, and I want to get it a bit more organised so I can actually find things a bit easier. I now do have it all tracked on a stash tracker that I've made on my MacBook, which is just a spreadsheet. But it's not particularly in any sort of order. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to show you what I've got. I'm not going to touch too much on everything in lots of detail because we've been here for a very long time. But I will a little bit, and then what I'm going to try and do, the floor is clear around me, you can't see that, but I'm going to try and sort it into different weights and also into things that I want to keep or things that I want to give away, because some stuff I think I'm either going to destash or give away, so we're going to go through that. First off, I'm going to move this little guy and this out of the way so that we can get to them easier. This was a little wedding gift from one of my friends, and he sits up there because I think he's really cute. Let me pop him on there. That is an unfinished project, so that can come out of the way. And let's talk about what we've got up here. So at the top, in here, this is leftovers from Advents. That's where those mini skeins were. I didn't know where those mini skeins were. This is predominantly, I think this is my Corner of Craft Advent, and I just saw somewhere. Yeah, what was I saying? This is my Corner of Craft Advent by Chromatic Yarns, or Chromatic Yarns Corner, I don't know which. She's Chromatic Yarns and the Corner of Craft. This was Muppets Christmas Carol themed. This isn't all of it because I've started making it into a Resplendent Shawl by Stephen West, and I think that's in one of the bags up there, so we might see that at some point. But this is just keeping it all together. This is the box that the Blue Fern Yarns Advent came in, and it's absolutely beautiful. Speaking of, this is my Blue Fern Advent in here. Again, I'd started making a project with that, but I didn't end up knowing what to do with it, didn't end up liking that. So it's going to be something different. And then in here as well is, I also did an Advent swap, which is what's in there. I believe this is the Discreet Unicorn Advent from 2023. Then what do I show you next? So these are all, except for that shouldn't be in there, that should be in the other one. These are all single skeins of sock yarn. I do have some more to go in here actually from East Anglia this weekend. So let me get these out and I'll show you. First thing on top that I've just popped in there is this set from Blue Fern Yarns. This is a sock blank. If you watched my recent video about East Anglia Yarn Fest, you heard me talking about that. Sock blank with a mini that I got to go with it. You can't see there, it's a purple colour. Put it that side. And these are all going to stay in this box actually, because this is going to be the easiest way to keep them together. I've got 2 sock sets from the Wolfchemist, which were a swap earlier in the year. These 2. So we've got this one, which is Tiger's Eye, and this one, which is Persephone. This one's sparkly, this one isn't. These two are beautiful, they're definitely staying. The blue fern the blue fern sock blank, I'm not fully decided what I'm going to do yet, but for now it's staying. These two I bought at East Anglia. This one is one of Blue Fern's skeins. You can sort of see it there. The colours aren't coming up great, unfortunately, but I'm just going to have to deal with it. This is the best light I can get in here. So this is all greens, reds, burgundies. This is on their yak base, and this is from Dina's Home of Crafts sock yarn in the shade Black Rose. They're both staying. This was a skein from Dye and Knit by Kate. I really like this dyer. Unfortunately, she no longer dyes. There's a bit of a story behind this one, behind her particularly. So some of the earliest sock yarns I got, which I think I've got some in here, were a gift from my other half, and he got them from Dye and Knit by Kate on Etsy, and they're lovely. And then she posted back end of last year that she was closing down a business. She was doing a closing sale. She was no longer going to be dyeing yarn. So I picked up one more skein whilst I could, and this is the shade Pumpkin Season, and I'm very definitely again going to be keeping this. This was a D-stash from one of my friends. It's a 50-gram mini of unknown origin and unknown sort of colourway or anything, but it actually goes quite well with that one from Dye and Knit by Kate. I'm going to keep it for now, at least. This was a gift from the same friend, but this was a gift, not a D-stash, and this is beautiful. This is Ted Knits UK, I've never even heard of them. This is a sock set, obviously, in the colourway Wisteria, and that is absolutely beautiful. We then have a sock set from Pigment and Ply that I bought myself last year because how gorgeous. This was, a few dyers did like a horror movie themed colourways, and this was the Pigment and Ply one. This is Scream and Final Girl, and just look at that red. And then the main skein with the reds in it. This is absolutely stunning. I'm keeping this 100%. And this one as well. This was a Beehive Yarns Very Vintage Yarn Club last year. This is the En Vacances colourway. It came with a little mini, which I've used for something like, in fact, it might be in there. It was just a really simple, basic sort of beigey mini. This was the special thing for me, and this is 100 grams, I think. Yeah, 100 gram skein. So I just, absolutely loved this. Again, definitely going to be keeping it, probably going to be socks. And then I have a couple of, I've got half a ball. This is 50 grams. One of my friends gifted me this, of the West Yorkshire Spinners Yarndale colourway from last year. I didn't realise they had one, so I didn't pick one up. And when I talked about that in my video, she gifted me 50 grams of her one that she got. And then I've got these two. So these are both commercial self-striping sock yarns. This one is Starcraft Head Over Heels, Walking in Nature. Yeah, this is the shade Dilly Dally. And you can see there the striping that it comes up with. And this is all in German, so apologies in advance. This is Opal 100 Wasserswerk yarn. Again, it's self-striping. I think you can see there, all the colours that it goes. And it's inspired by a piece of artwork, which is there, somewhere on the ball band. I just thought these colours were absolutely gorgeous. So again, those are staying. I tend to use self-striping yarns to make socks my other half quite a lot, so that's what they were purchased with those in mind, basically. This I'm not going to talk through in super detail because I'd be here for ages, but this is predominantly, it's all split up into different sections, but it's mostly scraps or minis of sock yarn. That's the mini that came with the Beehive Yarns, and again, I just think it does go with it, but I just don't think it's anywhere near as special as that main skein. So let me see what we've got in here. This in here, this is a bag from Down Duckpool Lane, I think, yeah. In here is a magic knot ball that I am creating. Looks really, just got a brown mini skein on the outside currently. And then in here are loads of little 10 gram mini skeins or little leftover nuggets of stuff that I'm going to add into this. I think there's like 400 grams worth of yarn in here. And that's, I'm going to keep adding to that. That's probably going to make either a blanket, or actually I quite would like to make some sort of garment out of that. So this one is all bigger scraps. Some of them are small, but some of them are really quite large, and some of them are massive. And these are all in here because they're going to go to either make squares of a Yorkshire blanket, which I started making last year, and I'm going to continue just adding squares to it. Or you might remember this. This is a blast from the past. This is from like probably about this time last year I started making this. These take about 3 grams worth of yarn per hexie. It's just a join as you go hexie scrappy blanket, and I was using leftovers of, there's some self-striping commercial yarn in there, there's some hand dyes. This is one of the Dye and Knit by Kate colours that I had, as is, no, the other one's not in there, I thought it was, and I was just using this to basically keep adding to. I've kept that with the intent of keeping doing that. So the ones in that bigger bag in the middle are either going to go in this or in the Yorkshire blanket, either or basically. So they are all staying in there, and that's why I've kept them together. That is a full skein of Signet Truly Wool Rich. This is, I used to really rate this. You can't get it super easily anymore, although it's still available. It's quite a budget friendly sock yarn. It only comes in solid colours, but it is a 75-25 superwash merino or superwash wool and nylon, and it comes in these little 50-gram balls. That's the shade Oatmeal. A couple of mini sets from Blue Fern Yarns. This was their Sun, Skies and Starlit Nights, I think it's Blanket Club, Mini Club, and these are the first 2 months of the year. They're just not massively my colours. In fact, I think this is February and March, and there's January somewhere, but they're going to go, again, they're going to go in there. Let's then start going through these. So these are, this was at one point I was just making some random solid grannies. I'm probably going to pull these out and make hexies with them, because some of these yarns are the ones that I've started making hexies with, so they can sit on a side and I'll sort them at some point. And this top little box is just full of needles, needles, cords, crochet hooks, all sorts of stuff like that. These little bits in here, that is a scrap that needs to go in there. And these are sort of half finished socks. So the greens are the second, or to make the second sock of some Slip It Simple socks that I was making for my other half. This was a sock set from Dystopic Fibre Yarns. I can't remember the colourway name. And I'd made one, I just need to make the other. And then, so that's why they're in here, because they're partway in use. And then this is a sock tube that I got cranked by a seller on Etsy. I'll pop a link below because she was really, really good. This is some Spectrum Fibres yarn. And I think this is a Cheshire Yarns hand-dyed mini in neon that I was using to add toes. I've added one toe and that's all I've done. So I need to basically add one more toe and one more toe, and then the heels and cuffs, and then that would be a finished pair of socks as well. I'll pop that up there for now. Then we get into slightly more bigger amounts. Let me show you this first. This is going to go straight back in where it was. This is some fingering weight yarn from World of Wool. That's their logo and everything. I purchased this last year. World of Wool is really good for, they've got lots of fibre, but they also do have yarn. And I've talked about this before because I'm using some of the Fuzzy Duck shade of this to make some gloves for my other half. This is their 4-ply 100% merino yarn. This is the shade Baby Seal. That's actually quite a true to life shade. There we go, words. It's like a almost slightly greeny grey. It's lovely. My other half asked for some knitted leggings, like thermal leggings, I guess, to go underneath his waterproof trousers, and that's what this is for. As you can see, I haven't got around to making it yet. I'd like to do that this year before winter hits again. And then in here we have our weird randomy bits. So that we'll come back to, because I've got some things to add to that. This is, there's some more Corner of Craft advents in here, there's some Blue Fern Yarn advents in here, and the other things that are in here are my work knits advents. So this is all advents that need sorting a bit better. So I put my advents on there, didn't I? I think for now I'm going to pop that down on the floor and we'll sort it a bit better when it comes to it. So this is, I think it's like 6 balls of Drops Nepal in the shade, I think it's just cream or off-white. Drops Nepal is a 65% wool, 35% alpaca. 6 balls would give me, that's not a full ball. It's probably about half. So I've got, it's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then a bit. And each one is 75 metres. My maths is not that quick. So I've got a little chunk of that here. And the reason it's there is because this is my other sort of Aran weight bits and bobs. I have some more that I want to add to it actually, which I'll find while I'm going through. So this is some leftover Drops Alaska. I've got the shade Sage Green and a little bit of dark grey. I've made a couple of projects out of this. I had more left over than I thought that I would have. And this is from another project. It was going to be a contrast colour. I ended up not using it in the end because I didn't like it when it was together. But I think to get combined, and there is some red that we're going to come across at some point, some burgundy. There's quite a lot of yarn here. And it would make quite a good project together. So I'm going to put Aran weight up here for now, so I can keep an eye on it. Now what? Now what? Let's come here. So I should have said there's going to be some rustling, because the way that I store things when it's like sweater quantities and stuff is I keep them in these IKEA bags. What I might do is not bother taking them out to an extent, because some of them are going to be a bit boring like this one. So this is... Hello? I actually just found this, so whilst we're at it before we move on to the next bit, this is some leftover Aran weight Starcraft acrylic, Starcraft special with wool, which I used for my Sugar Puff sweater. This is the leftovers of that, and I'm going to put that in with the Aran weight as well, because again, Aran weight leftovers. What was I talking about? And where's it gone? There. So this is Drops Lima. Drops Lima is the DK weight version of Nepal. So it's again that 65% wool, 35% alpaca. Yeah, 50 grams gives you 100 metres. And I've got, I don't know how much I've got in here. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. That doesn't seem quite right. I've got 11 balls in here, but that doesn't quite seem right. And this is to be combined with, where is it? So I'm going to voice over some of the worst of this because the rustling is quite bad. So a few bits you're going to hear me voice over in. So what I'm saying here is that this is all Retrosaria Joao, 4 different shades of it: a green, a blue, a navy, and a green, a navy, a teal, and an orange that I picked up whilst we were on honeymoon in Lisbon. It's 100% Portuguese wool, sport to DK weight. And the reason I got those colours particularly was they had a sample in the Retrosaria store of a I think it was just a raglan sweater with those 4 colours held with some cream yarn in a marl all the way through. My other half really liked it, and that's what that is for. So that's a load of Drops Lima that's going to be held with that to make a garment. That's not Aran weight, is it? I did find, whilst I was rummaging through for that, the leftovers of this, which I wanted to show you. So this is what was left from my road trip shacket. This is more Drops Nepal. This is in the shade Burgundy. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 full balls, so 200 grams and a little bit. And I'm going to put this up here with my Aran weight. I realise this isn't Aran weight, but that can stay there because it fits really well there. Then let's come back down here. We've got 5 balls of Drops Saffron in the shade Navy. This is 100% cotton 4-ply. And this is actually already in use for a project. So I bought the extra 3 to go with the 3 that I already had to make the Lakeside dress by Yarnsmiths, which is in testing currently, and I'm testing for her. And that is going to go with these. So I think I decided I was going to take the terracotta out, 4-ply bodice with DK weight skirts to make the skirt knitting go a bit quicker. I was going to use the navy saffron for the bodice. And then I have in here, these were going to be a blanket, but this is what it's been instead. So I've got some navy James C. Brett, it's 100% pure cotton. These are all DK weight, 100%, no, these are 100% cotton, the others aren't. I've got 2 of those, and then I've got 1 each of 4 colours of Stylecraft Naturals, which is a bamboo and cotton blend. I think it's 60%, yeah, 60% bamboo, 40% cotton. And I've got a sort of mauvey purple, a lavendery purple, a light blue, pink at the bottom, like a purpley pink. And I'm going to stripe those throughout the skirt with the navy bodice and the navy James C. Brett pulling in the sort of shades of navy from the bodice. So they're going together. Despite those being different weights, I'm going to keep them together. And then I had these 2. So I'd got these 2 to go with those because I was going to make a blanket, but they don't really go with the colours for the dress. So this is the shade IC22. So I've got 200 grams of this DK weight cotton. I've got 430 metres total there. It's a lovely colour. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. Maybe I de-stash that. Maybe that goes in the de-stash pile. Okay, then we've got this little lot, and there's a couple of bags of this. So these are all Stylecraft Island Heathers. I've had this is some of my deepest stash. So I've got several bowls of this shade, which is Moss, which is a deep, mild browny green. And then some Gorse, which is a much lighter. And one of Whiskey and one of Grist. Now, I'd intended to make this into I can't remember the name of it, a pattern by Journey Through Yarn, which I've made for myself, and I wanted to make a version for my other half. But I've changed plan on that, partly because I wasn't super happy with this. Again, I think that's probably going to go in the de-stash. It's just a bit too bright for anything that we'll use. So I think that's going to go in the de-stash. The Grist I like, but I don't know if I'll use. So for now I might keep, but again that might end up going in the de-stash. And then these two I'm going to use to make a Marie sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl as part of my series that I'm doing this year of knitting the same pattern in multiple different yarns. This is 100% premium acrylic. Whilst it looks sort of heathery and like yarn, it is acrylic, and it's a nice acrylic, so I wanted to use this as the acrylic version of that. So that's what this is going for. And I think I might, it's going to go on the maybe pile for now, and then I should hopefully be able to get all these back in here, maybe. And then in here we've got a couple more. So this is technically Aran weight, but actually it's more like a DK weight. This is, again, some of my deepest stash. King Cole Forest Recycled Aran. This is not an Aran weight yarn. 100 grams gives you 300 metres. So it's quite a light DK. And I bought this years back with a voucher from work. So this was the first year I worked at my current company back in 2021. So that tells you how deep stash this was. It was a Christmas voucher because at the time COVID was going on and we couldn't get out. And I intended to make a single malt with this for my other half. The trouble was at the time I didn't know anything about gauge and stuff like that. This said it was Aran weight, so I assumed it was Aran weight, and it's not. And I didn't swatch. I didn't swatch, I didn't even measure him to see what size he was. So I ended up ripping it out, and I've still got this sweater quantity now of, this is in the shade Grisdale Forest. And say it's Aran, but it's going to go with DK. I think for now I'm going to have this as DK and keep this here. Oops. And then this is Stylecraft Recreate. This navy shade was gifted to me by a friend. I'm going to show you later on in the episode when I find it. There is a grey shade that I've got as well that I purchased myself. I had originally started making a stick season sweater out of this, but I wasn't happy with how it was turning out. It's no reflection on the yarn, but it was the pattern, unfortunately, I wasn't very happy with. And I really like the yarn, so it's a completely recycled yarn. It's a DK weight, and I have, like I mentioned, I've got some grey, and I'm intending on holding the navy with the grey to make a key cardigan, which is a pattern by Petite Knit. I'm actually going to knit a Petite Knit pattern. One tip with these bags as well is you can almost use them like vacuum bags. I basically put everything in them, and then when I'm sealing them up, I squish them so it pushes all the air out, and it makes them a little bit easier to store. Okay, we've then got 3 scales of this Botanical Yarns Plump Merino Linen in the shade Alchemilla Mollis. This is a summer yarn, and I do think the colour looks really, really good on me, so I do want to make something with this. I just don't get around to it very often. This is going to stay for now. Then these I think I might de-stash. I've got 5 full balls. I haven't used any of them, of Lagoon DK by Yarnsmiths. I got this because I liked it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So this is Yarnsmiths Lagoon DK. Does it have a colour? 2J190. I don't know what that is. And it's this 100% premium acrylic with all of these sort of colour changing. I've got some green in it. This is more my kind of colours, so I might keep this one and get rid of the green. But for now it's going to go in the maybe pile. I've then got, this lot's been staying and I'm going to keep it for now, but I'm not going to bother getting it out of the bag because there's a lot of it. This is King Cole Big Value DK. This is relatively cost effective anyway, but I got this on a Facebook marketplace de-stash couple of years back now, I think, for like £7 for 14 balls, so 50p a ball. It's actually quite nice acrylic. I've been using little bits here and there for blankets and trimmings and things, but I think I'm going to actually make a garment out of it at some point, and that is going in the DK pack. And then this I might de-stash. This was again impulsive. This was Facebook Marketplace de-stash. It's 5 balls of this discontinued Nacre Mohair Special Romantic Jacquard. It does have a shade number, but I don't know. It's just numbers. And it's 10% mohair, 10% wool, 3% metallic polyester, and 77% premium acrylic. It is lace weight. It is 100 meters. 100 grams is approximately 540 meters. So I have a hell of a lot of this. I just don't know what to do with it. I've started trying to crochet it a couple of times. It's got some beautiful oranges and reds in it. It was just complete impulse, and I don't know what to do with it. I've tried to crochet with it a couple of times. I haven't tried knitting with it, but I don't know what I'd knit in lace weight, and I'm also not 100% sure what to hold it with to make it, you know, because of the massive different colours in it. So this is maybe part of the de-stashing. You've seen me talk about this. This was from a de-stash on Facebook. You can kind of see from the very yellowed organza bag that came with it. This is all Peter Pan Petite Fleur DK. There is a price tag on that, £3 and 5p. This is 175 meters per 50 grams. Is it 50 grams? Yeah, per 50 grams. It's sport to DK weight. 44% cotton, 28% tencel, and 28% acrylic. It is unfortunately discontinued, but it is lovely. If you can get hold of it anywhere, I would advise you to. So I have a couple of balls of white. I had some pink that I've given to a friend because the pink I wasn't going to wear. The white is the shade Snowdrop. The grey is the shade Lamb's Ear. And I'm using the grey to make my coffee cream slip over test by Stitches by Mary. And then there is the blue, which is Forget Me Not, and I'm actually doing another test with this at the moment of the Bory Tea for Dalborough Day. Zoom in. This is lovely. And what I'm going to do with this is the Bory Tea, I'm going to make the body out of the blue and then use the white as the trim. So that should use up most of that, along with the coffee cream vest. And I keep this in the bag just because it keeps it all together. I'll pop it in with the DK weight stuff for now. It is more sport to DK. I just had a horrible panic then because I thought I'd been here for 35-40 minutes and I thought I hadn't pressed record. I have, we're okay. Slightly more weird bits up here then. So in here, this is all James C. Brett. So James C. Brett is a very light DK weight yarn. It is an 80% acrylic, 20% wool blend that mostly comes in colour changing colours, although there are some solid colours, and that's what I've got here. So it is a 100 gram ball, gives you 500 plus meters worth of yarn. So it is an extremely light DK, but it almost is like I probably think you could use it as like a mohair alternative potentially. I have 2 balls of this black, 1 ball of the red, which was gifted to me by the person that I bought the de-stash of the Peter Pan DK off of, and 2 balls of grey. The black and the grey were both gifted to me by Leah, again of Leah Knits. I don't have any massive plans for this. I had thought about using the black to make another pearly cardigan with, using the black as the main colour for the body, and then using a skein from James Makes Yarn that we'll see further on in the episode as the sort of contrast colour for the eye cords. But the main thing will be if I can get gauge on that, because like I say, it's a very thin DK, so that will require some swatching. We've then got some little random bits. So this is 1 ball of yarn that I got from Prague. It's looking a bit worse for wear, isn't it? This is Osterman Antia Soft. It is a weird blend. Let me find it. 70% cotton, 18% wool, and 12% alpaca. It's absolutely gorgeous. I thought I'd use this as a contrast in something. It's a DK weight, 50 gram skein. And then I have 3, where's the other one? Yeah, 3 balls of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the shade Sunflower in here as well. Again, these are looking a little bit worse for wear. I bought them on a complete whim when... Oh, No Frills in Bristol were having an online sale, and I think it was like 30% off, and I took that opportunity to buy some of this, so I've got those. That should be up with the sock yarn. This is some woolly knit sock yarn. I got like a little mystery box from them a couple of Christmases ago, and it came with loads of like cones and stuff that weren't full. This is just a grey contrast colour. I use it as heels and toes quite often. Excuse me. And we've got loads of little bits in here. So I've got a bit of Drops Baby Merino that's left over from my brushed burnt umber cardigan, one single ball, a couple of balls of Drops Lima, but it's a different shade to that. This was the shade Chalk or Limestone, and it's more of a cool toned white. Single ball of Drops Fable in the shade White, which I'm going to put up there because it's sock yarn. And then 2 balls of, this is what happens with this does my nutting. It goes really messy, doesn't stay in the ball very well. 2 balls of Stylecraft Naturals, which I've shown you some of already, but these are separate because the colours don't really go. In the shade Spring Green. Again, I've got 500 metres of DK weight yarn. There isn't really enough there to do anything with, so I'm going to put that in the maybe pile, although they are messy, and I'm a bit worried about destashing them because they're so messy. And those are just a couple of little nuggets of Holst Super Soft, which we're going to get to. I have a big cone of it. In here, we've got, this is in here mainly to keep it safe. So this is Suri Alpaca Lace Weight from the Camel's Yarn in the shade Water Parsnip. I balled it up because I'm ready to start the next ball of my project. This is being held with some Drops Lima, which is, was it Lima? Might have been Fable, which I think is why that Fable's there. No, it's not. It's the, I can't remember what the name is. It's not Lima, because Lima's the DK weight version. There is a fingering weight version that Drops do of, I think it's Flora, and I was holding it with Drops Flora to make a lento, and this is my second skein of that, so it's there just to keep it safe. And then I have these 2 caked up skeins of Wildflower yarns, sock base in the colourway, I can't remember what the colourway is. I was making my Wonderland tee out of this. I've started frogging it back. In fact, I've mostly finished frogging it back. I've just got bored on this last little bit. Basically, I was testing this. There's nothing wrong with the design. I want to make it again, and I might even make it in the same yarn because it's beautiful. I'd lost a lot of weight during the process, and this was massive on me when I got to the body. So I frogged it back and decided to make it again in a more suitable size. This is the leftovers of my wedding dress that is enough to make a tee or a top of something out of. This is Knitting Frolic Pure Silk in the shade Copper. I've got 3 full balls and 1 very nearly full ball. It was very, very close to full, so that's 1,000 metres. And it's in a bag together to keep it safe. We have here, these are for the PNRT for my mum. This is both Blue Fern Yarn sock. This is the shade Grove, this is the shade Chartreuse, and I've already skeined up the other 2 of these that I've got, balled up, sorry, the other 2 of these that I've got and have been cast on into. And then we've got Nutiden in here. So these are all, I've got some more in another box. These are the shade, I think it was called Murder. Absolutely beautiful, royal purple blue, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, Murder. So I've got 600 grams of this. Nutiden is completely unspun yarn, obviously, and I've got some more that's further down, but I need to get to that. I don't really want to. I think for the next bit I'm going to bring my work chair over, and I'm going to sit down, give myself a breather, because everything else is also lower down that I need to go through with you. So I'm going to just readjust and I'll be back. Okay, that's the rustling over with. So I have 7 balls of this Blacker Yarns Leoness. This is worsted spun, but it's fingering weight, I'm pretty certain. Where are we? 4-ply, yeah, 4-ply merino linen blend, I think. Yeah, not merino, 50% Falklands wool, 50% linen in the shade Hematite. I don't think you can get this anymore, I think it was discontinued. But my mother-in-law for Christmas got me a gift card for Blacker Yarns, and that's what I spent it on. So that is going to be a summer top. I brought up some bags of stuff from the drawers downstairs and from East Anglia Yarn Festival that I want to put away. So I've got 2 balls, or the majority of 2 balls of this Herbie Colorina, and I don't know if you can guess what project this was used in. This is a 80% acrylic, 20% wool blend, DK weight. This was the shade Pastel Sky, I think. And yeah, it's really nice yarn. DK weight, so I'm going to pop it in here, and I'm just for now going to pop it like that, and I can come back to it later. I also have 5 balls of this, which is DK weight. This is Stylecraft Wonder Soft Merry-Go-Round double knitting. DK weight, 100% premium acrylic. 294 meters per 100 grams. This is a shade Dark Rainbow. My other half really liked this and said it would be a nice scarf or something, which is what it's going to be for him eventually. I'm going to find a bag to pop it in. I think I'm going to have most of DK. I'm probably going to reorganise this and have maybe fingering weight somewhere else, but we'll get to that. Then we have, what else have we got in here? Okay, I've got a couple of little things. These were from Yarndale last year. These are fingering weight, I think. Oh no, they're double knitting again. 2 50-gram little cakes of Angora. So this one is Angora and Blueface Leicester. This one is Angora and Alpaca. Lovely colours. For now, I'm going to pop in one of these little crates. That I'm going to keep out for now because there's another ball of this that I want to talk about them together when I get to it. This is the leftovers from my Pillars of Simplicity top. This is Lion Brand Comfy Cotton Blend. I can't really gift it, can I? I can't really de-stash it. It's not a full ball. Oh, I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to leave that out for now. Okay, now we're getting into stuff from East Anglia Yarn Fest. So stuff that I bought that I know what I'm doing with. This is that skein from James Makes Yarn that I said I was maybe going to hold with this to make another pearly cardigan. So that's staying for sure. Then we have some stuff that's going to be gifted. So this is a skein from Chromanema that's going to be gifted. This is a mini skein from James Makes Yarn that I bought that's going to be gifted. The yarn from, this is a DK, no it's not, it's a fingering weight from Folk Yarn Studio. This isn't being gifted, this is staying. And it wants to go up the top. I'm going to keep it down here for now. This one is being gifted. This came from Second City Yarns. This is beautiful in the shade Custard Factory. It's just not my colour, so that's going to be gifted. I think I decided these 3 were going to go. And this one's going to stay because I really like this. I think it's beautiful. That was a good shot. And I think the rest of the stuff in there is going to be gifted, so I'm going to keep that to one side. That's all the like little accoutrements, like the yarn spinner thing and all that sort of stuff. And those minis from Castleview Yarns were staying as well because they were gorgeous. I've got 2 massive balls of this Hayfield bonus Aran with wool. This is 25% acrylic, 20% wool in the shade Ivory Aran. This was to make a sweater for a friend. I'm going to pop them up here. I've swatched from one, but they are both pretty much intact. I then have, I'm going to keep this in here. This is a sit kit from Sincerely Louise, Make Your Own Forest Friend. It's a little bear head, and that's going to stay down there. Do I put it in a giveaway? I might put this in a giveaway because realistically, am I going to do anything with it? That's a maybe. 4 plates of Plotalope in the shade, I think it's called Universe or Galaxy. This is another unspun, but if I show you there, you're going to be able to see, possibly not. This is black, but with loads of nuance to it. I think this will make a really nice garment. So I've got 4 of those. 3 were from Ruth Loves to Knit D-Stash, and 1 I purchased extra because I needed an extra to make it up to the right amount. This is the grey Starcraft Recreate that I was talking about, that I'm going to use with the navy to make a key cardigan by the Petite Knitter. The Petite Knitter is a designer, but a different designer. So those are going to go together. So I want to put those together somewhere. I just think that's going to look really, really nice. So I want to somehow put those together. I'm running out of space for DK. But I do have these boxes behind me. I need to consider that I have those boxes behind me. And then I've got 3 of these. I'm just going to show you one. This is from a few years back from Aldi. This is the rainbow yarn in the shade Earth. It's all greens and blues and greys. It's lovely. It's really lovely. I started making something for our living room for it, and then I just didn't like it, so I'm going to make something else with it. Probably homewares. It's 100% acrylic. And then the other things that I have in here, I've got one of these, I've got one downstairs as well, but I'll just show you this one. This was from Herbie. This is their Horizon. They're quite well known for these big, like sheep's whirl cake things. But this is their Christmas, one of their Christmas colourways. It's 100% acrylic, 200 grams gives you 550 metres, and I've got 2 of these, so I've got 1,100 metres in total. I started making a crochet blanket with it, and I think that's probably what I'm going to make, but the pattern I chose, I didn't like the other yarn that I was holding with it to make the contrast colour. It was this, not that I didn't like it, but it just didn't really go, so I'm probably going to do something with it on its own. And then I've got 4 cakes of this. This is my absolute favourite. I keep thinking I might destash this, but I'm not destashing this because I love it so much. This is Yarnsmiths Pebble Haze Prints DK in the shade Peppercorn. I made my Yorkshire blanket out of this in multiple colours last year. This is a blown yarn, 67% cotton, 33% acrylic, DK weight. It does come in Aran weight as well. I really, really love this yarn, and there is no way I am giving it away. Okay, so that is everything in here. I've now got the boxes to go through, so I'm going to switch somehow, switch sides, otherwise you're not going to be able to see me on this at all. And then we will go through those. For now, I think I'm going to put these up here. I don't know what I'm going to do with these little crates. I got them and I used them for a bit, and now because I've changed the way I store stuff, I don't use them massively. So maybe it's time for them to go. So this is a bit of a mess. We're going to go through it. There are some bits here I wanted to talk about actually. So I've got 4 of these big cakes. These were a destash on Facebook. These were a case of me misunderstanding a bit what I was getting. So this lady was basically selling on behalf of her mum, who was, what's happened to my phone? Where are we all? That's better. You were all skew. She's selling on behalf of her mum, who was basically completely coming out of the hobby. She could no longer knit, and she had a lot of yarn in stash. And on reading the post back, what her daughter has said was she was selling basically by the kilo. There were 250 gram cakes, £10 for a kilo. And what I didn't understand, I think, when I read it, is that essentially what she's done is she's taken multiple coned yarns and she's stranded them up together and made these big cakes from them, which was not what I thought they were going to be, which is, again, this was completely my fault. They are about Aran weight, and I'm still happy with them when I've got them, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them into some crochet blankets. I don't know where to put them. I might put them in here, because do you know what, if they get bitten or anything, I am not particularly bothered about that. And then this one as well. Okay, and then we have this. I have 2 of these. One of them is attached to the project. This is big bowls of Wendy Aran with wool. I've shown this on the podcast because I bought this relatively recently in the shade Pine to make something for someone that I'm not going to say on here in case they watch, but it's going to go in the Aran. Sorry if it's a bit wobbly now. I think there's a possibility I'm going to catch the wire of the mic, which I've just moved to there. But you weren't going to hear me otherwise. What I was just saying then is I'm going to move the advents and stuff because I need to get into these boxes. Quite a bit in here. So I've got some more of my Nutidin. I've actually started making a project with this, and because it is not really possible to frog, I'm going to be making this project with this. Sorry about the clanking needles. This is the beginnings of a cognac sweater. I cannot remember the designer name, but essentially this is similar to the Lenta in that it's a large gauge on large needles, and I'm holding 2 strands of Nutidin together to make that one. I told you I was going to catch the cable, didn't I? Caught the cable. Knew I was going to. Okay, so I'm also going to have to do something about this plant that keeps grabbing me. Okay, that's a bit better. I've got this one ball of Yarnsmiths Free Spirit Aran. This was a destash from somebody, and I just wanted to try it, but I haven't got around to it. And it's one ball, 100 grams, 185 metres. I think I might gift this. Then the rat. I was going to talk about this. Is the rest of it here? The rest of this might be downstairs. I have 2 balls of this. This one looks a bit more messy because I started doing some crochet with it, but I'm not going to make it crochet. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab DK. This is the shade Prism Brights. My other half got me 1 ball of this for Christmas. And I bought another ball because I started making crochet with it. Why won't this one do? Fully intending to make a Kindle cover with it because he also got me a Kindle for Christmas. And then I decided it was too nice for that, basically. It was too nice for that. I didn't want it to be that, so I unravelled it. And I'm going to make a Marie sweater with this again. So I mentioned I was going to do, this is what I'm going to use to do my knitting in multiple different fabrics and seeing what it looks like sweater. So this is what I'm going to use for my wool version, and I've got some, I think it's downstairs. For the main colour, these are going to be the stripes because it's a striped sweater, and then for the main colour I'm going to use some very neutral woolly knit Wharf Mill DK in the shade Light Natural Grey, I think it's called. So these are going to be the coloured stripes. I think it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I've got all sorts of random bits in here. That shouldn't be in here, that should be... This is leftovers from a blue fern yarn skein that was I used to crochet my wedding shawl. So that should probably be up in the scraps box. I'll pop this down here for now. I've got, that's the other square I'd made, so that's going to be unwound, so it goes with those. I've got a little bit of leftovers of some James C. Brett Marble Chunky in the green shade. I've got some more colours of that in there, so I'm going to leave that there to go with that. And I've got these 2 balls of Isaiah Alpaca 2. I don't know what the shade is, it just says colour 59. I got these from Prague when we were on holiday there. I don't know what to do with them. I'm going to keep them because it's beautiful, and we got engaged on that holiday, so I'm absolutely keeping these, and I will make them into something with something else probably. But for now they're staying in here, so they stay safe. Single skein, and again, sorry, single skein of... Let me get, I have the ball band in the middle because I always knew I'd forget. This is Fae Folk Fibres. Fae Folk Fibres, Superwash Merino and Baby Alpaca and Silk singles, 4-ply in the colourway Lewis. Absolutely beautiful. This stays in here because I don't want it to get damaged. It's another little leftover that shouldn't be in here. I should have 2 of this. Where's the other one? Okay, I'll find that and put them together, that's great. This is Symphony Yarns Terra fingering weight, I can't remember, I think it's colourway Wilderness. I intended to make a cottagecore crop out of this, and I don't think I've got enough yarn, but it would be enough to make some sort of summer top, and that's my plans for that. I'm going to keep that out because I want to find a second one for that. I then have, this is in use currently, so these are the remains that I've got. I've got 4 balls left of Herbie Amigo. This is 100% high bulk acrylic in the shade Ecru. I'm using this for my current pearly cardigan, and I really like this acrylic. This is really, really nice. It's quite a thin DK, but it is getting my gauge nicely. I've got 4 balls remaining of this. It stays in here, but like I say, it's in the process of being used up. And then this is that needs to go with that then. This is the Drops Flora that I had that I was using for my Lento sweater. This is just in the shade Off-White. I've got 4 balls of that. I have 2 of these absolutely gorgeous skeins from Third Vault Yarns. This was store credit for sample knitting for Lola. This is, I can't remember the colourway name, but it is still stocked in her store and it's stunning. So I can't highly enough recommend this. My plans for this is I'm going to combine it with, possibly with that, again, where's it gone? With the black, I can't find it. I thought with the dark grey, but I think actually once I received them with the black, and I'm going to make the Go-Go Dynamo shawl with these 2, and then a black is the other colour, and it's going to look so gorgeous. That's one of my things that I want to do this year. I then have, these 2 are the same thing. This is just a cake I've wound off. So this is Uppingham Yarns. This is light woolly knit yarn that comes on the cone. 100% Shetland type wool. This is the shade Pebble. And it is a very fine 4-ply. It's like a light fingering, like the woolly knit. It blocks absolutely gorgeously, and the total price for this was 500 grams for £17.57, so really, really affordable. And I've got quite a lot of that. I have these 2 absolutely stunning skeins from Wool and Twine. These were a Christmas present this year. So this is her DK, BFL Romney DK, in the shade Fennel. I'm going to make, Inez Avertnet is just, I think it's still in testing. She's testing a hat at the moment that is using this, and I'm 100% going to make that. I think it will be absolutely gorgeous in that. And then I have this is it's a sock yarn. I just keep it in here because I want to keep it safe. This is that Ovis sock, which is 50% Cheviot, 50% Jacobs in the colourway Morning Dew. And that's most likely going to be socks. It's so special that I keep it in here because I want to keep it safe. And then I have This is what I got. So I got 4 colours of this. This is Signet Sugar Spun. I got 4 colours of this as tests for the contrast colour for my pearly cardigan. I ended up going with the Orange Fuzz or Orange Fizz colourway, and I gifted 2 of them. So 2 of them were, unsurprisingly, I'm kicking up a lot of dust doing this. It's making me sneeze. There was a green which was almost like ectoplasm green, and a pink which just wasn't my favourite, and I've gifted both of them. I think one was actually called Candy Floss or something like that. This one's called Fairy Floss, and it's a beautiful pinky purple. I really like this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might gift it eventually, but for now I'm going to keep it. This is an 80% acrylic, 20% wool blend. DK weight. And then I've got this skein which looks really, really sorry for itself, but it's just how it wound back up. This is some Dye Gilpin Laland DK that my other half got me for Christmas last year. No, year before, 2023. I can't remember the colourway name. He got me a few things together with this, and some of them downstairs because I was swatching for a project. But this was just too close to one of the other colours I was using for it. So this will actually, I wasn't super happy with that, so I think I'm going to take that out and put it back together with these so that I can use it all together. So that's that box. This is a cone. I was swatching for something that didn't work out, so it could be unwound. A cone of woolly knit, 100% cotton, I think. Yeah, 100% soft cotton, 400 grams in the shade Seafoam Green. This is most likely going to be, I've got a couple of tops this year that I want to make. And it's going to be one of them. I thought maybe, is it a T number 1 by My Favourite Things Knitwear? I think that's absolutely gorgeous, and this will work perfectly for it. There's my other ball of shh in the grey, so that can go there. I've got these 2. These were a gift from a friend. I don't know what to do with these because I just don't really use mohair anymore. I'm going to keep them for a little bit because I have an idea. I've got a pattern in my stash. But if not, then I might destash these. Maybe. I feel bad because it was a gift, but I just don't use mohair very often and I don't know what else to do with it. So I think, I'll see if it works for that pattern that I've got in mind, and if not, then they'll probably go. These 2, however, that gift from the same friend, and they're absolutely staying. This is from, I think it's a friend of hers, Bird Farm Alpacas. And it's these 2 skeins of 100% alpaca from their own farm. It's this beautiful natural colour. It's so soft. And I think I've got total 104 grams and 97 grams. So I've got 200 grams, and it says 100 grams is 298 metres. So I've got about 600 metres of yarn. It's so squishy and soft. I don't know what to use this for, but I keep sort of putting it to one side because it's special. I will use it at some point. It's so soft and beautiful. And that's going to go in there. Then I've got some other little bits of Stylecraft Recreate. I think that might be... Nope. No, I know what that is. We're going to talk about that. So I've got this one, which is the shade Cherry. And this one, which is a different grey. The one that I showed before is Champagne. This is more of like a cool... I guess that one's almost more like a creamy, warm-toned grey. This is more like a cool-toned grey. And that has sort of brighter flecks. This has got black flecks in. They will probably go together to make something really nice, definitely. I really like that yarn, so I'm not going to get rid of it at all. This is my most expensive skein. It's not my most expensive skein, but the one that I got from, I also got this from Retrosaria in Lisbon when we went for our honeymoon, and it was so expensive. This is a shade of Mondine by Retrosaria, by Retrosaria, but it's dyed by La Bien-Aimée, and it was like 30 odd euros, something ridiculous for a single skein. It's beautiful. That it really isn't showing up on camera. It's an incredibly dark inky green. It's beautiful, and I've caked it up because I'm going to make a muscle bra for this, out of this, for my other half. I just haven't got around to it yet. But that's definitely staying. And then I said I had some Marble Chunky, so this is the leftover of one colour. I've got then this one, and this one. I don't really know what to do with these. I've got 200 grams of each, haven't I? So I've actually got quite a lot of yarn. I've got like 900 metres of yarn. I might have a look through patterns and see what I could make with these 3 together. And then depending on the outcome of that, either they stay or they go. But yeah, 900 metres worth of yarn is fairly decent. So they're going to stay for now. I might destash them if it comes to that. I have 4 balls of Yarnsmiths Create DK and 4 of this. This is the Lagoon DK in the green. The green is actually absolutely gorgeous, so maybe I'll keep the green and make it something else. But maybe I keep both. Who knows? I'm trying to destash, but I don't have to destash that way, do I? I got this to make a crochet blanket with. I didn't make the crochet blanket. I started it and I wasn't super happy with it, so I sort of just kept them to one side. So I do have another ball of this and another ball of the Lagoon downstairs, both part used, but I suppose I could rip them back. It was a mosaic crochet blanket though, so every row they were cut. However, beautiful yarn, both of them really nice. So again, definitely staying. Let's put that back in there as well, and those back in there. And then this is the biggest one at the bottom. It's got quite a lot in it. First off, this is a cone of Lily Sugar and Cream in the shade Ahoy Ombre, I think it is. As you can tell, I made a top out of this. I was completely pulled in by what's her name, Passionate Kelsey, who makes loads of tops like this out of it, and I just never wore it, so I've ended up ripping it back. I have made myself from it something that is much more usable for me, a little coaster. And I've been using this sits on my work desk and I've been using this non-stop. I thought about maybe, she has some other top patterns, and I thought about making a different top. This isn't her pattern, but I thought about making one of her patterns from it. Or I did also think about making homewares and either using them or selling them on Etsy. But for now, I'm going to keep it. And again, it's been used and rewound, so I don't think I'm going to sell that or do anything with it. Lily Sugar and Cream is not as easy to come by in the UK as it is overseas, and I really wanted to try it. I think I might get rid. I think I might destash these. I did have them up for destash and nobody was interested, but I think I might actually try again. This is 2 big skeins of Lion Fran's Fisherman's Wool in the shade 1, 2, 3. Oh, Oatmeal. Maybe I'll try it, maybe I'll use it, but I've got 227 grams in each one, so 425 metres. I've got 850 metres. I thought maybe a slip over with it. Again, maybe I keep it and see, and if not, then I get rid of it. But yeah, they were bought from a friend at the destash, so they've already been destashed once over to me. We have, so the rest of this is downstairs, and it's been taken out of a project. If you've been here a long time, you'll have seen me talk about this project before. These are what I was using to make my Cosmo sweater by Russ Knitwear that I've just decided in my latest whip parade that I have ripped back because it's been where it is for 2 years, and at that point I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to use it. So I was using this, which is easyknit.co.uk, easyknits.co.uk, Big Boy in the shade Gris, which is a really interesting Exmoor Blueface Alpaca and Nylon blend, and I was holding it with Drops Kid Silk in the shade Dark Grey, and it was lovely. And it's actually frogged back really, really easily, and I think I'm going to make a pad stir cardigan or something similar out of this. So I had 3 of this. The reason it's called Big Boy is because it's 150 grams in each one. So I had 1,500 metres, and I had the mohair to match. This is the only mohair that I'm keeping in my stash because I will use it. Also, partly because the rest of the yarn is with the mohair because I've ripped them back together. I've got these. I might destash these. As you can tell, they have never been touched. So I've got 3 balls of this and 1 ball of this. So these are both Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift, which is, I think it's 100% Shetland wool. 3 in the shade Eclipse and 1 in the shade Gold that were to make some mittens. Maybe I keep them. I don't know. I might give them. I'm going to go on the maybe pile. The maybe pile is now up against the bottom of the tripod, so if you're moving a bit as I do that, I'm sorry. These, let's do this first, but this is some other knitted and I've got. I'm going to try and show you, but I don't really want to get too much of it out because it's quite hard to get back in. This is the other knitted I've got. This was gifted by a friend, by Mona of Get Your Knits Out. This is an absolutely beautiful orange colour. I don't know what to do with this yet, but it's not getting gifted because this was a wedding gift and it's absolutely stunning. I think again I've got 600 grams or 500 grams of that. These were gifted by a Christmas gift from Leah of Leah Knits. We did like a swap and she got me some 4 skeins of King Cole Subtle Drifter in the shade Oatmeal. This is 100% acrylic, it's so soft. And then 1 of the shade, the Riot line in the colourway Autumn. And I think this was for a design of hers that she was going to be releasing but hasn't come out yet because I'd said I wanted to test knit it. But I still think colour work, this is the main colour and this is colour work, would be absolutely gorgeous. They are staying, very definitely. Then we have these. These are not going anywhere because again, they are stunning. This is my James Makes Yarn advent from last year. So this was a full skein advent, and I don't know what order these go in. I don't think it says it. But I'm just going to pull them all out and show them up to you. So this is 5 full skeins of fingering weight yarn. And I thought I would make something stripy with these, either a cardigan or a sweater, and either stripe or colour block. But these were inspired by the Beanie Babies, and I'm the right age for Beanie Babies. Look at those. Oh my god. I'll show them up to you one by one. This was probably my least favourite, just because I'm not so much of a pink person, but I think with all of the others, this goes really well. If you know the Beanie Babies, this was inspired by Funky. This one is Corsage. This one is Flitter. Sherbet. And I think this one's actually my favourite. Hippie. Hippie was one that I had. I remember this all too well. So yeah, I've got, what are they? They're 400 metres each, 425 metres each. So I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 2,125 metres. Is that right? I've got quite a lot of yarn, basically, all that to say. So I thought maybe even a colour blocked long cardigan or something with them, because I really want to maximise those. I think they're absolutely stunning. Yeah, really, really gorgeous. Very happy with that advent. Very happy with that advent. And then we've got, so I've got 2 cones of Holst. One of them's downstairs. It should have been up here. I've got one in the shade Cinnamon and one in the shade Vintage Heather. These are absolutely massive cones of very light fingering weight yarn with lots of spinning oil in them. Very, very good value and highly recommend. I have, these are some more from Woolly Knit. They're that mystery sock yarn box that I got that I mentioned. So this is, these are, I don't think they're full. These are the wool nylon cones in the shade Ice Blue and Indigo. I don't know if, I think I'm going to get rid of this. I just don't think I'm going to use it. Light blue is not my colour. Indigo, maybe. But that I've had for ages, and I'm not drawn to that colour. So I'm going to get rid of it. And this is mostly in a project. So this is one of the Woolly Knit British wool cones. This is what's left of it after. I need to finish a sleeve on a cardigan. I can't show you the cardigan because it's still a secret, because it's coming out in the May episode of Liner magazine. But this is the light natural twist shade. And it comes in, like I say, these excuse me, these 500 gram cones, very similar to the Holst in terms of the fact that there's a lot of spinning oil in and stuff like that, and it's quite a light fingering weight, but again, very, very cost effective way to get quite a lot of yarn, particularly to get like British yarn and stuff like that, and rustic yarn, a bit less expensive than you normally might have it. And then the last little bit in here is, those are bits of Holst that I've wound up, and then this is, it's basically some of it's another cone in the shade Burnt Orange, Woolly Knit cone in the shade Burnt Orange that I just wound up to take it off the cone. I think I had a phase of doing that at one point. So that's everything I've got, and I'm sat surrounded by chaos on the floor. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a think about how I organise this and where things go. And I'm going to get it some sort of semblance of organised, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I've done. But I'm not going to film that bit because it'd be really boring for you guys, and I think I'm already at over an hour of footage. So I'll be back and I'll show you. I think I've got it. I was going to say, I think I've got it some semblance of organised. Not quite there yet. Okay, so I've still got Aran weight up here. You're a bit high. I'm not really in the frame, but the yarn is. Box is the same up top. Scraps, full skeins, staying the same. Aran weight up here, fingering weight now up here. These two are both DK. And what I've done is I've split up the yarn. So this is the Black Shush and the James Makes Yarn. That's in there. And I've also put together, stay in there. I've also put together the 3rd Volt yarns and the black I'm going to use for the contrast. I do need some more of the black. I've got a little bit more downstairs. I do need some more of the black. So yeah, that's basically that. And then what I've done in the boxes, you can't really see them from here, but these are all basically things that I'm not going to use anytime soon. In here is the stuff that I want to use sooner, projects that I want to cast on relatively quickly, or things that I have proper ideas for. And in there is either the cones are in there as well because they're bigger, but also I'm out of breath. This has been hard work. This things that I haven't got as much of an idea for and stuff like that. And I also have down here got quite a lot in the either de-stash or gift pile. All of this is, the bag's not keeping the bag, but all of this I've decided I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of that as well. And there is a little bit there that's maybe, but I will leave it out basically so I can see it and I can assess and I can decide. So yeah, there's quite a big gift de-stash pile there as well to go through. I'm feeling a bit better about this now, having actually seen it. There's more that I've actually got plans for and that I want to do stuff with. Yes, there is some stuff that I don't know what I want to do with, but there's going to be a bit like that in any stash, isn't there? And getting rid of some, like there's 500 grams there, that would be 500 grams out. That's quite a lot of meters, that's like 2,500 meters there if I de-stash that. And I just don't know what else to do with it. I keep holding on to it because it's discontinued and I'm not going to get it again, but if I don't know what to do with it and I'm not using it, then what's the point in keeping it? So we'll get rid of that. But yeah, that is my yarn stash. That is my shame out on the internet for everyone to see. There is a lot. I feel better now it's organised, like I say. And everything has sort of a place. That there's nothing, that's just got a little bit of holster in it that needs to go in there. And that's about it. Oh, that's why. I couldn't work out why I had more space in the boxes than I thought. This is all my advents that need to go somewhere. For now, no problem there, I think. So that's now, yeah, advents, scraps, full skeins, tools, random bits, Aran weight, fingering weight, DK, some unspun in the bottom there. The rest of the unspun is in there because it's a bit more protected. And then, yeah, these are all things that, not particularly in any order, but things that I'm not in any rush to use that are later down the line. So, yeah. There's a lot of mess over there that needs sorting. We'll do that in a minute. It was quite nice to look through it all, actually, and see what I've got and what I haven't. I think it's not a bad stash. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot, but I think it's mostly made up of sweater quantities and things that I have ideas for, like I said. So at least hopefully that means I can use through it. It'd be interesting to do one of these this time next year and see where I'm at, what I've used, what I haven't, and also if my tastes have changed. So I'm going to go and have a sit down now and try and get through some of these knitting projects so I can cast on some of this exciting stuff that I've got here. Yeah. Is there anything that really stood out to you? This, I can't wait to use this. This is the 3rd volt. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. So that's high up on the priority list for me. But yeah, that's everything I wanted to show you guys. I'm looking at carnage around me, so I'm going to go tidy that up. Thank you very much for making me do this. I say that sarcastically, but also gratefully, because I have actually, it's been beneficial. I'm going to go and tidy the rest of my room. Bye, guys.